Yeah, sorry. Um, yeah, they gang raped her. So she was 15 or 16. Um, they gang raped her. Um, she knocked out, so like consciously, she knocked out of the screaming, and they covered her mouth with poison or some sort of toxin like type of thing in a napkin. They put her mouth so she stopped screaming. And when she knocked out, she woke up um, with them. They took a dagger and they literally were ripping her heart. And that's how she woke up and that's how she died. They took her heart out, they put it in a box, and they sent it again to her father. And the only reason why I know about this is because they wrote everything that they did to his kids, and sent them the head and the heart to him, and they wrote down in the letter exactly what they did, and there's blood all over the letter, blood all over the box. It's like Pandora's box, eh? And they said, this is what we did to your daughters, this is what we did to your son, and this is what we're going to do to the rest of your family. We're taking all your riches, we're taking your entire ancestry, we're taking everything. And these guys used to laugh together, they used to sit down together. And some of them were from the Kurdish tribes. And you have to understand, even my great grandfather, he was friends with these Kurds, okay? Um, and he used to tell the Kurds, you're being tricked by these Zionists. Don't fall for it. They're tricking you to destroy the Armenians, and they're going to do it to you too. They're going to destroy the Kurds. And they didn't listen. They're like, no, we're Muslim brothers. Those were Zionists. It was a trick. It was always a trick to destroy the people, to get the people to attack each other, just so that they can have this formed of one government, okay? Which is the entire worldwide government. And so apparently, so my grandmother, her name was Lucine, my mom's mom, and her mother's name was Ovsanna. Ovsanna is a form of Oksana, which is a Russian or Slavic name. And so Oksana was about 11 years old, and she remembers everything. I never got to meet her, but she knew my mom, and she used to speak Turkish very well. And mind you, it comes from a Mongolian, the word Turk, it's Mongolian, and even the language. Now it's more Europeanized and all that. And at that time, Turkish was written in the Arabic language, but now it's more like English and Latin. But so she was, and so she remembers like everything. And she remembers her father. Apparently, he couldn't take it. He was going mad. He was going insane when they were down in the cellar because they were hiding the rest of the kids and the family. They were all in the cellar and they had to stay in the cellar. And the government didn't know about the cellar. He didn't tell the government about the cellar underground. And the kids hiding there and everything. So this is like, I don't know. And apparently he had a heart attack, or he died, and his heart stopped and everything. And apparently Ovsanna was like screaming, oh, my father, and how, and then apparently her mom or stepmom, I can't remember the story, was freaking out. How am I going to take care of these kids? We're going to stay here in the cellar. What am I going to do? And then apparently after like an hour, he came back to life. This is what Ovsanna used to tell my mom when she was little, and of how they survived and everything. And when he came back, he said he literally transported on the spiritual realm, and he was brought back to life, and he was told what to do. It's like guardians or somebody told him what to do and how to get out of there and how to protect his kids and to survive and stuff. So and then I think after like a few weeks he died fully, like after they survived or something. But I didn't know anything about this stuff until I was 17 years old. I knew as a child because of Armenian school, and we learned about the Armenian genocide in Armenian school. And I remember my blood, my veins would like, I could feel my veins pop in and out because how much it affected me, because I felt like I lived the life. But I didn't know what had happened to my family until I was 17. Nobody told me. My mom didn't want to tell me. She knew, like I knew, she told me we're genocidal survivors. And but she didn't tell me, like, obviously, she didn't tell me like the stories. But it was my 17th birthday, and on my 17th birthday I saw a spirit in the hallway of my house. And this spirit was about 6 feet tall, 5'11" to 6 feet tall. She was wearing a white gown. She had short hair, and I kind of resembled her. She looked like me, and she was staring into my eyes. And in that split second, I was like, what, and I looked in the mirror because I was like, is that me? But she was tall. And I was on the phone with a friend because she was wishing me a happy birthday, and she was planning a birthday for us the next day because we didn't go out that night, and because it was late at night. And she said to Laura, like, why are you silent? It's like you saw a ghost. I'm like, oh my God, I think I just did. And she's like, the first thing she said is, maybe it's a great grandmother, or maybe it's a grandmother. It's like something came out of her mouth. And I couldn't sleep that night. And then the next morning I woke up. My mom was downstairs making eggs or breakfast before she left to go to work. I woke up early in the morning. And I told her, I saw this lady and she looked like me, and she was wearing a white gown, and she looked depressed. Like hell, death. Death was on her side. Like death. Like zombie death. Like gray skin. And death. And I told her she was about 5'9", 6 feet tall. Immediately, my mom was like, and I knew right then and there something was up. She's catching up to something, that this might be real. And she said, I think I know who you're talking about. Because I said, was there anybody in our family, And then she goes, it's your 17th birthday today. 17th is the mark. And I'm like, what are you talking about, right? And I was like, what? She's like, in our family, 17 is the mark. And I'm like, what? And she's like, when I was 17, she's like, hold on, I gotta show you something. She ran. My mom was shivering. She's shaking. Her face is going red. She like spilled her coffee. She stopped what she was doing. She turned the fire off when she was cooking the eggs, and she left everything. She wasn't doing it anymore. And then she came back with this huge frame. And she's like, I've been keeping this frame hidden. It was a black and white frame, and she was hiding it, locked up. And she brought it up, and she's like, can I show you this picture? And if you look at this picture, will you be able to know if this was her, that the spirit that you saw? And I said, yeah, like, why not? And she showed me the picture, and oh my God, guys, it was her. It was her. And I said, Mom, that's her. And she's like, oh my God, she starts crying. She goes, that's Miriam. She goes, I'm named after her. And I'm like, what? And she's like, this is Nura's older sister, your great grandfather's mom, the one you've taken your eyes, you've adapted her eyes. I'm like, oh my God. And she's like, she wants to connect with you. And she's like, what do you think she wants to say? And I'm like, I don't know, Mom. I feel like I'm gonna go on this huge journey of like self-discovery. And so since then, guys, I've been on this huge self-discovery of my DNA and ancestry, and it made so much sense when I found out. We ended up sitting and talking for hours, and she told me all this stuff from when she remembers she was little, of Nuda, of Sanna, of her grandfather. She met her uncle, which is Nuda's son, the one in Germany. They kept in contact. They would talk. He has one daughter and two boys, and and it made so much sense as to why I was raped multiple times and why things had to go the way they did. So it's like on the way of healing my ancestry, I had to go through all this so that no one has to ever repeat itself. Not no kids in the future, no my not my niece, not my, because I was born into this family to heal this DNA and to heal this. And on this way of healing my DNA, I'm healing other people who have gone through similar things or who will be going through similar things in the future. So I will be able to support them based on what I've done for myself. So by me speaking about this, the back of my neck has been feeling a lot better. I've been sleeping good. Because I've mentioned sometimes the back here, it goes off. And I know in the Metatron's Cube video, I mentioned that it was pushed in, but then it's also been pushed back out, and I had to do laser light therapy, and I didn't do it right away. I did it like months later because it was just getting too much. And what was put back in, I stirred the wheel, and I put in the love, and I put in that link back into my ancestry, because love, family love, true love, financial support, like it was all ripped out of our DNA, destroyed in our chakra systems, in our DNA, because of jealousies. Okay, and the only thing our cellular